Hi, people. Hello, followers of MK channel. Welcome to another edition of your favorite channel, MK channel. Thank you for always staying tuned. Thank you for subscribing to our channel just below the screen. Thank you for liking, giving us a thumbs up. Thank you for sharing, and of course, for leaving your commentaries. They really Thank you so much once more. Welcome to another episode 8 of our educational talks with kids. Bienvenue à tous les followers, à tous les abonnés de MK Channel. Merci de vous connecter une fois de plus à nous. Merci de nous suivre dans notre épisode 8 de l'éducation sexuelle chez les enfants. Alors n'oubliez pas de vous abonner une fois de plus pour ceux-là qui ne sont pas encore les abonnés. Donnez-nous les puces, voilà les puces pour dire que vous aimez ce que nous faisons. Ensuite, partagez et puis n'oubliez pas de laisser vos commentaires. Alors dans cet autre épisode, nous allons parler de ce que l'homme de la rue pense de l'éducation sexuelle des enfants. So in this episode, dear followers, we're going to be sharing vox pops. We're going to be giving you the point of views of the layman on the streets of the West region, on the streets of Cameroon, what they think about education, especially sexual education with their kids. Now, before leaving you to watch them, I would like to remind you all that it's possible for you to place your advertorials right in this our episodes. Yes, you can place your advertorials if you're a startupper, if you have spot or publicities, you want to make yourself known. It is possible to do it here. And we have all our contacts on our page. We have our mobile contacts, our email addresses, and every other contact that you might want. Alors, avant de continuer ou de vous laisser suivre ces Vox Pop ou les points de vue des uns et des autres, j'aimerais rappeler à tout un chacun que c'est possible de faire vos publicités avec nous. Oui, oui, c'est possible ici. Alors, je vous laisse d'abord suivre ces Vox Pop et on se retrouve juste après.
It is really very important for parents to talk about sexual education to their children at home. Because when you look at this one now with social media going on with all the information, many children are aware of this, of what they call sex, but you need to introduce it to them. It is not more a fiasco today to talk about that with your family or with your children at home. Nowadays, with all the technological inventions in the world today, we need to orientate them on what is sex, we define sex, and what are the consequences of having sex, what are the impacts. What are the results after having sex? What age can you have sex?
Yes, I want to believe that sex education that should be transferred to our children is something very important to note. But the approach will be so much in question. When you take a wrong approach, finally you will not be doing it the right way as far as trying to educate their children about sex. Well, I want to believe before you start approaching any of your children to talk about sex, you should really try to study the child and you know the child's way of behavior, so that the approach will not really tamper with her mentality. And the approach should be that you have some meetings with them, if it's just one in your house. You organize yourself very well where only the two of you can be present. If at all, if your wife is there and your wife seems to have understood what is sex education to your children, then to include her, so that if you try to inject knowledge into your child, I think the mother as well can also add, mostly when it comes to a girl child. We want to talk about sex education. I want to believe we should so much emphasize on our gay children, because a girl child of the same age with a boy child, you realize that the gay child quickly understands what is sex, but not going deep to understand the consequences. While the boy of the same age of that girl might have not known anything, might not have not known anything at all, and it's just still blank. But the girl child grows up a bit faster and understands sex. So when we talk about sex education to our girl children, we should start approaching them from their undersleeps, their inner ways. Mostly like a mother. You a father, you can always tell your wife to educate the child how to take care of her underwears. And as from there, you see, you monitor her, you see her behavior sometimes and so on. And most important, I think the approach, one of the approaches should be try to understand the child. If at all you have a home where maybe she owns her own room, you try to invite, you try to visit her room time to time to really see how she's doing, how is she really keeping herself and things like that. I don't think sex education is only a girl child going to have sex with somebody outside or whatsoever. Sex education should start from the base, from her living standard, in her room and things like that, the way she keeps her sleeps and things like that. If you keep your sleep carelessly, I think it will tamper with you. If you start going about boys and they just call you, just go and greet and so on, sometimes they might deceive you and finally you fall prey to a situation that will be regrettable. So sex education is very important to talk to our girl children mostly. And I just outlined one of the approaches. I want to believe another approach it should be you call your girl child. I want to base so much on our girl children. You call your girl child and tell her, look, we have passed through some of these things. A good number of us fallen prey to a situation where we never wanted. But then, as you are moving, look, you look bulky, you look beautiful, you have already and so on. Bear in mind that they are outside there watching at you. But if you are still schooling or you are doing what, or you are learning a trade and things like that, bear it in mind that after everything, my trade, my education is more important. My education will be the first husband in my life. So you take it serious and don't go about just greeting everybody and finally they just invite you everywhere and take a drink and things like that. It is from there that they get you cheap. And when they get you very cheap, you will not have any stand again. And finally when penalty comes up, when you are not even prepared for it, you are still searching for your future. Finally, you see, your future becomes blinked.
Oui, monsieur, je parle de l'éducation sexuelle de mes enfants. Donc, quand je veux leur parler du sexe, je les appelle d'abord. Ils viennent s'asseoir. Après avoir fini de manger, je leur demande de rester un peu avec moi. Je commence un peu à causer. Comme vous êtes comme ça, si quand tu sors comme ça, surtout aux filles, si quand tu sors comme ça, là, si un homme t'approche, il faut leur demander, il faut leur dire que le père ou bien la mère a dit que non, on ne doit pas causer avec les garçons. Non, 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 non. Donc j'essaie un peu de les éduquer comme ça. Parce que si quelqu'un les approche, un homme veut un peu, ou bien un petit garçon, tout ça veut leur toucher les seins comme ça. Non, il faut dire que maman a refusé, papa a refusé.
Le langage que je prends quand je veux aborder ma fille pour la sexualité, je la dis, ma fille, si tu veux aller avec un garçon à ton temps, voilà, tu es encore trop jeune, tu n'as pas l'âge pour supporter autant de choses. Donc, pour l'instant, si quelqu'un t'aborde en route, dis, je passe le temps, parce que l'âge ne te permet pas. Si tu es encore mineur, bon, je prends le cadre de l'âge de ma fille qui a peut-être 16 ans. Et tu n'as pas encore ce temps. Et si un garçon te toucher, n'importe comment, sache qu'il va t'aborder d'une façon et quand tu vas te toucher, ça va arriver en toi certaines sensations qui ne sont pas bien pour toi. Donc du coup, évite un peu les garçons parce qu'il n'est pas encore temps. Si elle t'approche, je te salue, réponds et continue ta route. Plus tu arrêtes, si tu accordes l'instant de minute là, ça veut dire que tu veux comprendre ce qu'il veut te dire. Et du coup, tu vas marcher sur son pas. Donc évite d'arrêter en cours de route à chaque fois qu'on va te dire, mamie, bon, tu es belle.
Welcome back, dear all. After listening to the Vox Pop, I hope and I know that you've learned something today. I know that you, as a parent who has been looking at education, especially sexual education, as a taboo, you're now looking at it like a normal thing that you have to talk with your kids. Now, another precision that I would like to share with you is the fact that we shouldn't forget to tell them the different parts of the bodies. Yes, the external parts and the internal parts of the bodies is very important. We tell them what the hand serves for, what the legs serve for, what the eyes serve for, and the no-go areas, which are the intimate parts. That's the penis and the vagina. It's important. This is the role of the parent, the role of the society, the role of the teacher too. It's very important. So we would not talk about something without necessarily pointing out the functions or the roles of that thing. So we have to make our kids to know that these are no-go areas. No one has the right to touch their intimate parts. Nobody. I repeat, nobody. This is the message you should put up in the minds of your kids. If anyone tampers with it, let them speak out. Let them have the capacity to speak out. If you notice that your child has been very expressive and all of a sudden they go quiet or dumb, then watch out, dear parent. Forget about your activities on a daily, your businesses on a daily. Create space and time and room to talk with your little kids and even the adolescents. It's important about their sexual lives because some of them are being manipulated sexually by their own peers. That is sometimes uncles, sometimes cousins, brothers, sisters, and even neighbors. So please do something about it. Alors, avant de vous quitter ce soir ou cet après-midi ou ce matin, peu importe quand vous nous suivez, j'aimerais bien préciser que, chers parents, c'est important d'expliquer à vos enfants les différentes parties de leur corps. Quand vous énumérez les différentes parties, par exemple, vous dites à un enfant que ses mains lui servent à telle chose, ses pieds lui servent à telle chose. Quand vous donnez ces différentes fonctions, n'oubliez pas de parler aussi de leur intimité, de leur appareil génital, qui est le pénis pour le garçon et le vagin. Faites très attention quand vous constatez, par exemple, que vos enfants ont changé. Ils deviennent un peu plus timides, les enfants qui bavardaient, qui parlaient de manière vraiment libre avec vous. Si soudain ou subitement vous constatez un changement, n'hésitez pas de causer avec vos enfants. Peu importe leur âge, parce que les prédateurs ne sont jamais loin. Des fois, ce sont les cousins, les oncles, le voisin, ainsi de suite. Donc, on peut leur manipuler. Donc, dites à ces enfants que interdiction, personne ne devrait toucher à ma partie ou à mon appareil génital. Et si quelqu'un le fait, je devrais dire à papa, dire à maman, pour que cela s'arrête. Alors voilà, très chers abonnés, merci encore pour votre temps ce jour. Merci de nous suivre au quotidien. N'oubliez pas de liker, d'abonner et surtout de laisser vos commentaires et partager. I love you all. See you in the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like and leave your commentaries. Love you all. Ciao.